Right, Ledgers, welcome to Bitcoin for Ledgers live review. So, before I start, I want to thank our partners, PrimeXBT, for making this happen. They're the one that sponsored this show, so you guys get it free. If you like the content shared, then use the link in the description and use code TraderSZ, and you get up to $7,000 on your deposit bonus. Nothing in this video constitutes financial advice or seek the help of a professional. So yeah, if you like the content, use the link. It tells Prime you guys want this to continue, and win-win for everybody. It doesn't cost you a thing. Check them out. You can also, trade not just crypto, but you can trade FX, commodities, stock indices, all sorts. Okay, so having said that, let's get stuck straight in. Now, a lot of the stuff discussed, Bitcoin just been in a range, and the two range plays we had worked out nicely. We had one, actually was nearly live, called down into this key support level. You guys know the levels from before. Had another one, again, same exact play. There's two wins. I didn't take a long setup, but what it did was it came to the extreme end of SR. It did the deviation. That's the extreme short. Trigger, back down, took out the stops. There's three trades. 3 wins, being very picky with your setup, and that's all she wrote. So what do we do now? So we were using this range, if you remember. Okay, this was refining it down into here. Now, what does he do here now? The question is still very tight. It's probably not the best ideal pair to trade, but while it's still here, it's still significant. Zooming out, just to remind ourselves what's going on. It's not much really happening still in Bitcoin. I think soon it will resolve based on my idea on dollar index. If I'm correct, I will cover the dollar index. I'll do Bitcoin, then I'll move on to dollar index, then I'll do Ethereum or 1 or 2 alts. So if I look at Bitcoin, okay, bigger picture view, and repetition is key because it reminds ourselves, we might do an idea too much. This zone here, this wick area here, so this is the consolidation, more or less highlighting. Wicks gets back above, rallies up. Wicks in there, rallies up. These are significant rallies, okay? Yeah, big rallies, same thing again. Consolidates here, sell off. Retest here, sell off. Now, question is this, a swing failure or not to continue lower? And even then, if you're going to continue lower, I wouldn't say all the way down to 12k or 8k or whatever the case may be. Let's establish a range. So let's just remove this for now. Just imagine we already identified as our resistance area. So then what we'll do, clean this up a little bit, okay, and get a different color, and just second focus, where are we really within? If we were to zoom in, truly and truly, take that high towards there. I'll use this one as a separate SR level, separate range, just so we don't get confused, like that there, and we can call that there, that's one range. And the other range is back to the yellow lines, let's just call it this one here. Okay, we're within the 2 yellow ranges. If it gets below the pink one, we're into an old range, so this is one range. If we break below and hold below, we play that, so that way you don't need to worry about saying, oh, is it 12k, 8k? Listen, I don't know, nobody knows. All I know is this is the range we're looking to play, and that's it. And if it was to break below, current range is still here, okay? It's not doing much, but it's still the range. It doesn't have to move when you want it to. It can do whatever it wants. Was last week's run up the high? Possibly. Could it continue higher? Possibly. But that's where we have the trigger plans. Okay. Now, there's one way of trading where, based on violation, I cut and clean, reclaim back above here, bunga stop loss there, and here. That's more aggressive type. And with those kind of setups, I go in smaller size. And then once it starts confirming and breaking down the thesis, then I can add more size and trail it based on having a new validation. So for example, if it was to break down below here and start holding, which would be a deviation back below May's high, then my validation will go from wherever that is to there, and then I can load the proper size because probabilities have increased. And even then, I'm just looking to play within this yellow range. Target 1, target 2, possibly target 3, but these target mid-range and range low are the main targets. And then maybe it goes up again, then maybe it goes down, and then for all we know, ping pong for another 5 years. Anyways, that was sarcasm. I did do a chart saying that and this is to test the IQ levels of some of the guys following us. If you do have single digit IQ, I excuse you, it's not your fault. But those without single, at least in the double digit IQ, if you cannot understand when this is sarcasm, then I'm going to give you a moment of silence for 5 seconds. Okay, let's go. Now, but yeah, nothing more to say on that. Let's just leave it at that. It's for the best. Okay, so that more or less establishes it. Now keeping that in mind, that's all I'm looking at. That is all I'm looking at for the range. And just so we're familiar with the upside, I'll have that up. And if we were to break above and hold above, then we would enter this range. Okay, fairly straightforward. Okay, that is all. So, having said that, what do we do next? Okay, let's zoom in now. Okay, so what we've done is we've drawn out our levels, and again, let's stick to the short-term level to level ones before the breakout plays. So, look at that, to the tick, these are holding. So if you came within here, I mean, this one equates to the natural SR run of these stops, confluenced with the range levels. Now, these are all in the previous review. Okay, if you want to refine stuff, now I can't make these reviews really, the chart looks really pretty and simple and let's range high. Or I can tell you how I trade, the details. It gets a bit messy with the charts, but you gain the alpha from the shit that people try to copy our streams. Well, I don't need to mention names. I keep it real, okay, because this is how I trade. I'm consistent in what I do. There's the deviation of confluence with not just SR level, stop run, okay, but the range level as well as confluence, because the boundaries as far how far is to go. So aggressive traders, if it's going to go down, it shouldn't come down too much. Failure, there is the trigger, okay, and validation, target 1, target 2, you're done. Keep that in mind now. So if I was to look at this range from this point of view, where are the stops going to be resting now? Towards range low, aren't they? So let's assume that range high has been taken, the stops there, and let's assume until proven otherwise, it's going to maintain the range bound perspective. Okay, it's easier to trade that way. So then what's it going to do? Is it going to move from here? Is it going to pop up and then drop? I would prefer a pop and then drop. It's for obvious reasons. I mean, that's what we would like. But if it's going to pop, where would we like the market to be capped by? So what we would like to see is mid-range. We have this consolidation there. So two ways of playing this. One is if it was to rally, retest that consolidation, then break back below, trigger, cut a clean break above. If he does that, remember last stream talked about this? It happened live. It happened again then if you missed that one. You wait for that deviation to unfold. You hit target 1 there because within the range you're going to be retight. If you're going to trade this, target 2, and then the stops are going to be resting below here and towards here, in my opinion. Okay, and this area here. I mean, I've got to have short-term targets because why it's raining, but I can't do nothing about it. I mean, there's people saying, "Oh, look how tight your target is." Well, what the fuck do you want me to do? If it's rain bound, go take it out of the market. Then if it's rain bound, you dumb fuck. You don't know what am I supposed to do? This is the market. It's not your fucking dad's house that you decide this is the target, that's the target. Shut the fuck up. It's range bound market. You trade as a range. That's it. Or don't trade it at all. Now, consolidation leads to expansion. Now, the longer the consolidation, the closer we get to the expansion. Trend move, whether up or down, matters not. Okay. I mean, with the long scenario, once it broke and held above here, that was a short-term long as well we took. I mean, I hit target 1, stops I break even, the rest got trailed out. And once they gave me a short trigger, I got the fuck out, smacked it short. So, that's one scenario, the pullback scenario. Now the breakdown scenario. Now, I'm eyeing the May's range. Okay? May. Now, if I was to draw out May, okay, watch this. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this. Now, that May's range looks very, very sus for a run of these lows here. Got Binance at very clean lows there. I mean, even it's gonna go up, right? What I'm looking for there. So previously, once it deviated and held below here, it made a quick reaction back. And once it got back below, It was good, and then it held as resistance to put for a push lower. I believe something similar. So if it does not give me the pullback scenario, then I'll wait for the breakdown. Now what I want to be looking for is maybe take out the stops, retest, start breaking down, and then the trigger, and then, now I'm not saying this can go all the way down, but high probability objective would be May's mid-range. Why? Because as you can see, it's been pivotal here, here, here. Take that to the left with my wonky line, key SR, you can see that there. So we will target here, target 1 and target 2. Okay, there, and we're done. If it goes further, it goes further, but these two are my main targets. I can always position myself again if or when the time comes. So I want to see a break back below and hold below, then I'm going to step the fuck in, and then I'm going to go for the move lower. Now at this point, this was discussed in the previous review. So what's the last review? I discussed detailed trigger plans, what is a clean break above. There's so much shit. I basically went over my strategy in there. If you're not watching that, well, that's up to you. I mean, okay, if you're getting benefit from it, that's fine. Many do. But if you watch that, you'll have my basic blueprint of how I trade actually. So watch that. It might be in the live video section. Okay, I'll get confused on YouTube. I need to figure out how to use it properly. If I do upload like this, it goes in the videos, and the other one goes in the live. But yeah, you can find it. It's the last one. Okay, wherever the date is. So that's that there. And then maybe possible long here or squeeze on. I don't care. I'm looking for high probability objectives. I know where my edge comes in. It's just from that move to that move, that move to that move, and that's done. Just like here, from that move to run up here, that's it. That was me done. From that little scalp to that run there, that was me done. These are high probability plays for me. Little movements in price. I go in with size and a milk market, and I step back and I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait till there's something else that stands out to me, and I step back in. And that's all I do. I don't care if I miss a whole move. I can miss a whole bull run, and I'm still going to be rich as fuck still, because I'm still going to be picking my trade setups that fit my bias. I'm rinsing and repeating that. Yes, you make a lot of money in the spot run. I have spot bags as well. You think I'm going to sit there with no spot bags? I have spot bags. I just don't talk about many of them. But I'm talking trading here, not spot longs. There's a different story there. And I've missed loads of these alt moves higher, but do I care? Nope. I'm glad you made your $50. I'm glad you tripled your $10 account. That's fine. I'm doing my own thing, and that works fine for me. And that is all I'm gonna say. Okay, so having said that, what is the next play for the higher price movement? I'm gonna stick. I mean, it's coming to that point where it's getting really, really tricky. Okay, so to pause for a second. For the long setup, I mean. Going back towards here, okay. I mean, I'm open to the scenario of possibly one more run of the highs, then a deviation, or a possible top B from here. It's really tricky right now. I mean, it's consolidated so long. I mean, you're a better trader than me if you know what's going to go on here, right? At these current prices, I need more to personally to unfold to know. But what I mean by that is, I am open to a possible one more run, okay, of this. So for example's sake, if it does this, so let's have a long target marked up. Okay, so if it does something like this, runs up one more time, and then that's where I'm happy to take the long trigger, because that's the deviation done. Okay, that's one more run there, and then possibly a leg lower towards here, and maybe even towards towards here. Okay, there's my trigger, because that's one more run, and then if immediately comes back below, then that's it. That's not breaking out then, is it? Maybe later on it breaks out. Maybe we could do this. Okay, but I don't care. I've done my play and I'm done. Or if it does this, okay, this is where it gets tricky. I want to see a clearance above here first. If it breaks back above, consolidates here, and then breaks above and holds, that's no longer a deviation. That's a break and hold above. Then I'm happy to go for the longs towards there. Okay, other than that, I mean, short-term scalp longs, that's different. But if it's that resistance stuff like this, I prefer shorting. If it flips, then I prefer the longs. It's as simple as that. Okay, or don't trade this at all. There's others out there. Now let's resume. Okay, next up, I'm gonna do the dollar index. Now I spoke about this before. Now, with the dollar index in mind, what I've done is, and I'm just repeating what I said before previously. What we've got here is macro mid-range, macro low, range low, range high, and mid range. Okay, that's all I've done. And you can see the turning points. There, I mean, break above, rally up, there, and more recently here. Now, as it stands, its resistance becomes support, hasn't it? Everybody that wanted to long it here, missing out all of this. I did catch this move up. Yes, I did. It's all on my feed. Then it did become bearish here, anticipating here, but when it started bouncing here, I thought, okay, maybe they'll front run this. I didn't think that. But zooming out, imagine this is not a dollar index. Imagine this is, I don't know, fuck no, some random ticker you've never heard of before. Okay, call it the LGBTQ dollar, something like that. Fuck knows, man. Anything that gets a crowd in, that starts pumping shit, this will be it. But I'm only joking. Well, half joking, half serious. But yeah, that's resistance becomes support now, isn't it? Okay. So naturally, we'll be looking for support here. Now, obviously, if this did break down, okay, and then held, then okay, that's then confirmed deviation. Then say I'm trading this, for example, say, well, that's my short trigger in violation and reclaim back above it, and I'll be targeting towards here and possibly there. Okay, and that is all. So having said that, is there like a correlation between these two? Yes, there is. And if I invert it, okay, there is. I mean, it can't be denied. It is there. I mean, it's not the best correlation, but that correlation is still there. Okay, so if this starts, the dollar index now inverted, the dollar index starts to turn down, this should probably then start to turn down as well. Okay, so see this up when it bottomed, maybe one more quick low, but pushed up, it is there. Okay, it can't be denied. But it doesn't mean it has to work. But usually what happens is with the dollar index is that when it trends, then, like for example, the FX majors and everything else pays attention. But when it's like this range bound, the others can do their own thing, because technically, if you think about it, it's not doing nothing. When something's range bound, it's not doing nothing. It's like mean reverting each time to the mean. But if it's gonna reclaim and trend, that's when you pay attention. That's when shit starts to move. You understand? Good. Okay, for example's sake, when they started trend, okay, I mean, for ages it was in a range. I mean, it did, okay, but when it starts to trend, then this son of a bitch starts moving. When this starts to trend, then this starts moving. That's when the moves happen. Okay, so if again the dollar index trends, not range, trend, then now because it's been consolidating for so long, ahead of just above macro mid range, okay, that's a long last consolidation. Okay, then that leads me to believe this is a deviation. So if this is a deviation, and then we look and say call this a range high, okay, then I'm gonna throw in a mid range around here somewhere. I'm gonna eyeball it. When you ball, that's a wonky mid range, but yeah, that's kind of a shit mid range, to be honest with you. Let's draw this again. I'm not impressed with that. Nor should you be. Let's draw that again. Fucking hell. What's going on? What's going on, bruv? It's not looking good. These mid-range are... You get the picture. It's more or less mid-range. Okay, now the fact that it's pivoted off there, and the low time frame you can see there, congestion once it clears it there, break below, retest down, leads me to believe that, let's get rid of this, get rid of that, if we do reclaim like this, it should be a fast reclaim. The nature of a deviation should be quick-lived, because we've already been consulting about I think the accumulation, core accumulation. Don't get too caught up with the wording, you know what I mean. Reclaim, that should be a fast aggressive move up, in my opinion. Target one there, but rip off these highs there, rip out, rip off, do whatever the fuck you want. So that then becomes the trigger. Okay, there, T, which means I think it will have a effect if that's a big if if it follows this plan. Okay, that's a deviation, bruv. Done. Now, add back in the mid-range. If we do, however, break below, so maybe let bounce, maybe to resistance, and then start falling and holding below here, then that's game over, bruv. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Probably towards there next. Okay? Maybe a little lower, but maybe there and there. So if it's going to turn, it needs to turn from here, in my opinion. Okay? Maybe another little bit of bottom quick. And then towards there. Okay? Well, that's the most shittiest one is line I've ever drawn. See, these are the real problems with trading, drawing straight lines. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not straight yourself. And drawing straight lines is a bit of a headache. Not saying I'm not straight. Real traders go both ways. But you know what I mean. Okay, so let's carry on with that. So having said that, that will have an impact. Now that I finally come in here, you observe it. It doesn't have to do it. It's just more observation. And the real confirmation will be above here anyway. So you get time. Let's see, let's study this market. So big money, I mean, for example, I make big money based on once it's confirmed and stuff. Okay, not actively trade. My active trading isn't, it makes some money, but it's not that all that for me. My money is made by being picky. When that move comes, boom, go all the way in. Enough to buy a fleet of supercars. So that's the type of move I went to once to confirm. When that lines up, that lines up, that lines up, all the dust lined up, balls deep, max risk, boom. And max risk does not mean the whole net worth. It means whatever my max limit is, I push that, and then the rest is a grind with smaller risk. So that's a very significant thing to keep an eye on. Now, enough of that. Let's move on to Ethereum now. Looking at Ethereum, oh, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. So, where's my F chart? ETH. So if I look at ETH, right, that's how they say it. The British say it proper. The rest is fake English. Real English is from the British. Don't forget that. Don't be using, potato chips. Fuck off. It's called crisps. You know what I mean? Don't say we say hood of the car. It's called the bonnet. Repeat, bonnet. That's it. Anyways, now where we had to run up to here, they're all range high. Deviation. Dev. There, it's still stuck there, isn't it? Now, recall, I call this live. I mean, all I've been saying is it's a range, but I even took a small long ones here, believe it or not. If I've called in the stream and you too much of a lazy fucker to even pay attention, and then start saying I'm bearish only, well, I can probably trade a bear shorts only, the later pullbacks in the bull market, and still make money. And you're still sitting there on Twitter complaining with your $3 account. Anyways, having said that, sorry, I just had to get that out of my system. So here, deviation. Well, once I said when you get the deviation, by default, you get invalidation there, or a clean reclaim and hold above, and that dropped nicely on Friday evening, if you remember, Friday afternoon, late afternoon, and continuation now. So there's two ways of playing this now. Okay, I'm gonna get straight to the point. I'm gonna put this video out then. I think I'll do the alts in the next one because once this is done, I'm gonna do two next week. Okay, or 20 this week, sorry, I'm gonna do another one this week. So once Monday unfolds, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, I'll do it also, because then I'll know the direction of Bitcoin. Whether up or down, we'll know. So, having said that, let's build in our ranges. So what we've got here is, we got this there. Okay, and range low technically comes in around about here. Okay, no, hang on. No. Let's fix this up. We can't be having this kind of shit going on here. We got this range high. Sorry, my bad. So we got the macro range, and then short term, this area has been capping the market to the upside, as you can see, extreme end, and then we've got what's capping the downside. Oopsie daisy. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. Okay, there we go. Here, there. As you can see, that's where the price has been capped by, right? I'm sure everybody in agreement here. These are deviations. I mean, okay, we didn't know that at the time, but technically that was afterwards. Okay, deviation, the anti-key resistance area, and even towards here. Now, for all we know, this could come back into towards here, reclaim, ping pong it back up again. Who knows? So there's two plays here. Now, as long as we hold below here, I'm aiming for range low. It just makes logical sense, doesn't it? Okay, so two plays. One is a pullback play. So scenario 1 is if we do something like this, rally it up, deviation. Once it deviates, trigger whatever the range low is at the time. So maybe T1 here, T2, and T3, and you're done. It's range bound play done. Okay. The other is trend continuation. If it decides, says, fuck all of you motherfuckers, I'm going to collapse right here. Well, that's a range, that's a SR level flip. That's a trend line. In case you didn't know, that's called a trend line, by the way. It's called a blue one. Blue's a nice color. It's my favorite color, by the way. And then see if it holds. As long as it holds, there's my trigger. Objective. This is just level to level play, no macro VC, because it's rainbow. I'll do a session where I just do macro only as well. Okay, because I do a macro one once in a while and I don't have to repeat it. But because other people see it at different times, they miss it. Okay, but XO is good at that. XO, you can watch that. But if it's rain bound, then what's the point of doing macro then? Okay, I've covered it once already. I have very little tolerance for laziness, but I will do it. Okay, when the time comes. And then extended targets. I mean, if it's really going to run for it, these lows here. Okay, let's just stick to that. Now, with that in mind, say if it's going to say you're asking the question, well, what do we do if it does make a run lower? Then see that I prepared myself. I know where my level to level place is, and I know my place in the market is not to fuck around too much. But if it does come towards here, I start breaking back and holding below, well, where's the stops going to be resting? The stops are going to be resting here. Let's do pink lines for stops, you know, because when the pink guys come out, I start taking your stops. It's not going to be looking good, bruv. My jokes are so fucking shit. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm thinking, the fuck have I been doing? I think they're funny sometimes. But yeah, I've got issues. Well, I think we all got issues. As being encrypted, we all got issues. You would be normal without issues. So now I feel normal. So, cheers. And then around there's tertiary targets. Okay, now that's the breakout play. So that's always there. If it breaks below, now if this gives me the trigger and then reclaims and holds, get the fuck out quick. Exit. There you go. Okay, I hope that made sense. I hope you guys found value in this. I will do one more FBTC. Now FBTC is a bit tricky. And the monthly, I'm still convinced. I mean, see the monthly still suggests to me this one's lower. Right at the monthly open. I mean, the reason why I say that is because of this, and what we've got here is see that monthly candles here, there. So expansion is overdue with the new quarter. Now, what would confirm that monthly breakdown for me would be, now if we're gonna minimize this as a range, okay, I did speak about this before. If it rallied up, what we'll do is do like a little bear flag type of thing, yeah. So what we've got here is range high, and then we can establish this as our range low. Now, if I wanted the easy peasy lemon squeezy play, let me add in the levels again. Hang on, I mean, I lost it, didn't I? One second. Let's add this level here. Okay, it's always there. Hang on. Let me add this color here. Oopsie daisy. 1 second. Clear this up. That level, just say that's going to go for the next level. That's a significant move there. And then after that, there. Okay, I have gone over this bigger picture. So if we did this, now I could short it here and cut in a clean break back up off here. Okay, aim towards here. Why? Because it's at range highs. So if it breaks above range high and holds, then get out. Or I'll wait for this breakdown, hold below. As long as it doesn't reclaim back over the trend line, is a trigger, target there, and then towards the now. If this continues lower, F and BTC pull back lower, then F is the better short. But that's there. Okay, I hope that helped. I will be doing another one either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how the market looks. But I will be doing one more for sure. Litecoin as well. If you look at my Twitter feed, look at that blood clot Litecoin. So it was here, spoke about this point. It's on my Twitter feed actually. I said it's gonna do bomber clot there. So I'm sure from there, I compounded not long ago there. I'll cut at a clean break above mid range, target. It's just a range bound play. I did do a snippet video on this as well. Okay, hope that helps, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye bye.